I've had things progress in the last week. I've got my first actual sale that's gone through on the packages. So, it's actually gone through. I've received my email from Stripe. Now, of course, there's a trial, so I haven't seen cash yet, but that's coming. But at least I know it's working properly. So my next thing is I've got to get my fulfillment emails together and do that because I basically just use the order form. I still have to do a sales page for it too. But I've learned quite a bit about the sales pages. There's really not a lot to them. There's a lot of stuff that makes them pretty, but the real meat and bones is just, a headline, a video, a button. That's really the biggest part of it. The rest of it's all just, here's a description, here's a this, here's a that. And that's just you making it pretty, you know. But the bare bones of it, making it actually flow through and take the order is pretty simple. So what I've got to do now is I've got to get a little more advanced. Is mine's got to have a sales page that then leads to multiple sales pages because I've got the multiple different levels. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But anyway, so what are you guys working on?
Well, I've been working on my newsletter.
Okay.
I'm working on a newsletter for my epoxy company because I'm going to do the article thing, like Arnold was saying, for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very big topic. Concrete's huge, and how to take care of concrete. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got a website up for it, and I've already got products in my name, private labeled, everything's done. I should be selling the heck out of that stuff because I've got a product that waterproof your concrete and all kinds of things. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be as complicated as yours because really it's just a sales process. They want to buy it, they buy it. I don't need to, have these kinds of I think it's just like using a Shopify, actually. I just need to
Yeah.
put it up there, they're gonna buy it. So I want to go in that direction. So I've been working on my website. I'm putting in new graphics for the display my cans because they're old fashioned. I just took pictures originally. So I'm going to update that for my website. Everything's pretty much in place. But the other thing is too, is I want to get working on some of those other things that we were talking about too, with
Mm-hmm.
the article writing and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you then real quick, like, okay, let's recap everything you got to learn. Let's say you were to give advice, where would you focus? Just say, hey, stay centered. Here's where I'd go study.
Yeah, I've kind of left the bots by the wayside a little bit. I've kind of left the Instagram by the wayside a little bit because it just is
Mhm.
too time consuming. I'm really focused right now on being able to do course creation, to have that product to actually sell to somebody,
Right.
because I really see how you can get people to come to us. Because I mean, if I get people to come to a workshop, well, I can just as easily say, so like my next thing is right now my focus is to get the pod set up for us. So my replays are on there for us so we can do that. And then anything I create, I will add to our pod. Okay. Because, if you remember that he talked about the difference between the courses and the pods. Okay. So I'll have a pod for our group. And then anything I create, I'll pop in there so you guys can see it. But that's my main focus now is to get that created. Then I'm going to go back and get the lead surge that I just did, and I'm going to break it down into small bits. And I may even re-record parts of it, and I'm definitely going to re-record the ending of it because I'm not even going to focus on, I was using Chad's member grabber page as my basically freebie. Well, the member grabber is a freebie anyway. I don't really need that page to offer that as a deliverable. So I'm going to change the end to where it doesn't even talk about that or the goat. I'm just going to talk about my packages of software. Maybe I'll throw the goat in at the end, or once I talk to them, I'll say, look, there's options. You can do the software or you can go the goat, and get into the mastermind I'm in. Either way. So
Why wouldn't you want to promote the goat at that kind of thing? Like, start out as smaller and then move the way up,
Mm.
to where the people come in? Is it harder, you think?
Well, I think, in talking with ChatGPT when I was setting this up, the sweet spot to get somebody in is that $27 range. And so I set up my very basic, just pop links and GC at $27 a month. And then I went up to 59 a month, adding the newsletter. Okay. And then I go the next level up, you get Quiz Forma and um, the course software is the next level up at 79. And then at 99, you've got Mintbird. And then I've got separate add-ons for the bots if you want them. Now, by the time you're into the bots, you might as well join the mastermind because you're going to get all that additional backup, and it's not going to affect how much I'm making because as an add-on, I'm at 149 by the time they
Exactly.
get to the bots. And so if they come into the mastermind, I'm still making 149 or 150 or
Yeah.
whatever, So at that point, I don't care, but I can get them in because trying to get somebody into a 279 mastermind, just like Chad said, it's difficult. You want something lower. So I can tell somebody, yeah, I can get you into the software without having to commit to the mastermind, and I'll put you in my mastermind. Okay, so that's my next step is I'm going to create my own mastermind. I'm going to start it out at, I don't know, $20 a month or something like that. It's going to be cheap because, I'm not Chad. and, but I can break down these softwares that Chad's doing. And so that's kind of my next step is going to be to start, like you said, we need someone to tie it all together, and Chad's running a million miles a minute. So if you took one area you felt comfortable with and created a training program that totally encompassed that, then you attract people in with that, and say, oh yeah, and I've got this training for this section that's going to really, and ultimately you could actually bring people in from Chad's folks that are at different levels. Somebody might join your mastermind too because you're the expert at course creation or whatever, you know. So
I know that you're good friends with Chad because he talks to you quite a bit, but so that's why I asked. I mean, should I go in the chat room and say, hey, Chad, I think you ought to do a 3-4 day deal where you actually show us over the shoulder how to tie this all together finally. But then
yeah.
again, maybe he's already got that going and he suggests that's why I'm asking. I don't want to, be redundant and
Yeah, I think he's trying to do it in the 30-day challenge because he keeps adding to that,
I see. Okay.
So I think
Probably
as he's
won't do
getting
that
it,
then.
yeah, I think he's trying to do it as he gets them finished up in that 30-day. How far have you gone in that?
Well, I started on different sections of it, and like say the how we the section where we become an affiliate for the program. But I'm
Right.
thinking, well, I probably should recenter around
Hmm.
things that are mattering, like Mintbird and the Core Sprout.
Right.
Forget all that other stuff. See, that's where the confusion comes. I'm spinning my wheels in sections that maybe aren't going to be effective right now, and so I should
Hmm.
that's why I asked you, where should I really start focusing? Because I feel like I'm a bit on overwhelm and a bit on direction. Where do I go? And
I
that's
have
where I'm
felt
at
the
right now.
same way. Yeah, I have felt the same way as I'm going, and I keep plugging along. But sometimes I just step back and say, "Okay, man, what's next?" Because
Ah, no
what
kidding.
I feel the same way sometimes. So I try and pick a lane to work on so I can actually progress somewhere in what I'm doing. So like say right now, I want that course creation because I've got stuff to put in there now. You know,
That's
um,
good.
yeah. I mean, as far as your online stuff, I mean, can you go online and start teaching some of this stuff? Do a little video about it?
I might be able to here shortly. Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I think
Yeah,
I
and I
should
mean,
be
doesn't have to be live. You just, record something and put it
right.
up. But
Like do a course like he did with
mhm,
the Letterman, right? He
yeah,
showed that little mini course
yeah. Or
that he
just
put.
just a little thing about, hey, I just wanted to show you something cool I learned today about these tags I can create. And just go ahead and talk about that, say, and then I can fire off these things with them. And gosh, they've got all these integrations I've got to work with. I mean, that sort of stuff just mesmerizes people because they don't have that software, and it goes, wow. you know. So, I mean,
I
that
hate to
stuff does
say it,
work.
but it looks like a lot of people aren't going to be able to do this themselves. I mean, you might have to hire a team. That's the other thing I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about. What about how do we get a hold of hiring somebody to help start?
VA. Yeah.
Yeah, VA.
Chad actually talked about that. I mean, if we're ready to hire a VA, we should just go right through, talk to Chad and talk to G. You know, G knows
And then,
people, right? Yeah, I mean, G's not going to recommend anybody he doesn't think is good, and there are people over there in Nepal looking for the work. You know what
what do
I'm
they
saying?
charge an hour, Stu?
No, Chad talks, starting out at $3 an hour for, basic VA work, I guess, over there. So now I'm sure if you're a programmer and getting into G's level, I'm sure he's paying G pretty well,
Oh
but,
yeah,
but I'm sure it's nothing like you'd pay somebody over here to do it, you know? So
$3 isn't too bad.
no, no, I mean, we were talking in the one group that I'm in that hasn't come to fruition yet, but we were talking about splitting a VA.
I
To
see.
actually be able to actually be able to create a full-time job for somebody
Oh,
by
that's good.
splitting it up between, 3 or 4 people. Everybody takes, 10 hours a week, and I could find 10 hours of work for somebody. I mean, just the putting them on the newsletter alone would free me up
That's
just a
chunk
ton of
change
time.
too. 30
Yeah.
bucks is all it be.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about like
or
training
the
them though?
Instagram,
Who's
the
going to train them?
Instagram. Well, you've got to train them. I mean, you've got to teach them what you want, So one of the things I know that when you get ready to hire somebody, you really want to put together some metrics about what it is you want them to do. And like Chad says, you need to know how to do it first. Otherwise, you can't really
Teach
hold them
them.
accountable.
Yep.
Now you may not be the best video editor and you may be hiring somebody that's a whiz, but you need to have an idea of what you want that final product to be in order to coach them as to what you want.
Yeah.
So, so I mean,
Oh,
but
cool.
yeah, that's what I've been getting from it. And I'm real close to wanting somebody. I mean, if I could get just a few more sales under my belt, then I'm going to immediately put the money back into get freeing up my time so that I can do more, you know.
Mhm.
So now I've had 2 reach outs this week. I'm going to do a video on the 25th for some folks that run a storage facility. Um, so she reached out to me, said I came across the page, just wondering how I could get featured. And I was talking to her. She says, "Yeah, it's hard to market this kind of a business, and I got these other big ones setting up around me, and that kind of thing. That's cool. I'll come down and talk with you. And I'll do a free initial video for you." And I just said, we're new, so we're not really charging a lot yet. It's coming up, but right now I'll be happy to come down and feature you. And so we're doing that next week. So
It
hey,
just seems like they could set up an email system just for reoccurring customers.
I would think so, yeah. And I don't think they would. I mean, I can't see it lending itself really to a group, but a page, sure, a like campaign on a page. Um, and you don't really need the group to be able to run a leads ad, if you're running a newsletter or something. And it'd be tough nut to kind of set up a really interesting newsletter about storage units,
Especially stuff that
but
they found in them that have been abandoned.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you're doing storage wars, sure, if you were having, and I don't know, I'll ask her about that when I'm down there. I mean, do you have to deal with that kind of thing like auctions? And I mean, do you have to, I mean, I would think when you're doing that, you'd want to promote them well so that you'd have the most number of bidders there. So that's something they may want to build an email list for. I don't know. I'll talk to her, see where it goes. But well, anyway, I'm going to take you over real quick to the course sprout and just kind of show you what I've been working on. Um, and I'm just going through his videos. Boom, here we go. So yeah, he's got all the videos. They're set up right up here under tutorials. And I say they're kind of, I mean, like he's got you creating, he talks about the pods versus the course. And then he has you create a course and create a lesson for the course. And he talks about a members tour and adding a new member. And I'm going to try to add a new member, but I can't add a course to them because I don't have the options set for the course. So I'm that far, but I can't complete that because I'm there. So I'm going to figure that out before the day's out. But basically, essentially, you have courses and you have pods. So there's a pod which I've created for us, and then I have a course, which the course is going to be our weekly lessons. And you click on let's see here, click on that, and then you can see, so you got the main course. Now, right now, it's just going to have an image on it, but you have the option to put a video on the page. So like a welcome video, hey, welcome to the course. You know, this is what you're going to learn, whatever, little 2-minute video welcome at the top. And then this would be your first lesson. So I've got that in. And it's something to do with these option settings down here that I don't have quite right yet. But ultimately you just, and the other thing I haven't figured out is this instant lesson yet. That if you're using Vimeo, and I know he said in the video that they're still working on this, but you'll actually be able to use a Vimeo video and have it create all that for you. So, but that I can't figure out yet. But for creating a course, you can just create a course right there, add a new one. So like if I wanted to add lead surge. Okay. I'll go play with GPT later and get good course descriptions and stuff. So choose an instructor. It's going to be me. You get to choose pick a color for it. So I don't know, lead surge was kind of purplish. And again, I'll go back and get the eyedropper, you know, like Chad's taught us how to do, and I'll make it the right color ultimately in the end. And then you can put images here. Where's my lead surge? I got way too much stuff in here. Okay, lead surge 500.
I know it gets pretty heavy.
Yeah, I get so much stuff. My Canva is
Wow.
crazy too.
I got the same problem.
I need to learn how to organize it better as I'm going. I really do.
It's called folders.
Well, yeah, I hear that.
Folders.
Start the folders and I can't find what I've done with the folders. Anyway, but save course. So then it creates your course, put your logos in there, all that good stuff. So now you have a course, but you don't have any lessons in it yet. So
What do you do? Film them on your own?
yeah, well, I mean, like I just did this lead surge. It was a 2-hour workshop. I'm going to break it down into small parts and put it in there.
You sent it to us.
Yeah, you've got the 2 hour.
I'm going through that as soon as we're done with this call. I'm going through the whole thing.
Yeah, you've got the 2-hour workshop in that. So
yeah,
and that talks. Yeah, that's basically, I mean, and I sent you the slides for it too, or the link to the slides in Canva. So I mean, you guys can work that around and do your own workshop. You know, it's just a matter of, hey, come on in and learn how we set up our email. You know, walk them through how you actually set it up. Make sure you mention there, hey, you know, if you learn this skill, you can charge $500 from a business. You know, and, oh, really? Yeah, I want to learn that. You know, so, you know, but yeah, if you take them through that initial setup and then again, set up the smaller packages like I've done so that, you know, okay, so they don't want to go to 297 right now. That's a lot of money when you're just trying to start out, but yeah, I'd love to learn this. And if I could get an affiliate link and set up a, you know, a pop link and have a CRM, you know, and then you just teach them to go get any product and how to set it up, you know, and then you teach them how they can, and I would definitely have them sign up for Power Plays, you know, say, yeah, we can get you signed up for some product right now, all these workshops. And, you know, we've got the one coming up on the 21st for Mintbird that's going to be really big. You definitely want to be a part of that, you know, so get them signed up so you can actually show them how to set up a product, you know, using one of the workshops, you know.
So, what is there is a workshop coming up? I didn't know about it.
21st of July, he's doing the launch.
Oh, July, that's right.
Yeah, the Mintbird launch. So that's you know, he'll probably do the pre-workshop like he usually does, where he has us all come. He really likes to get the t-shirts out early if he can, because when he did the one affiliate workshop, a lot of people had the shirts on for it. So, but then he got backed up on that stuff. But anyway,
You
but
know,
yes, that's how you create the actual course, and then you can actually put them into the pods. So
I'm going to go through that one too. I think that's a good one I want to go through because that's the other project I want to do is a $27 um $27 per month or one time anyway uh course. And why I remember, if you guys remember, I asked him, is it Iman or Iman? Iman or Iman?
I'm in, I think. I don't
Iman.
know.
So I
I'm probably wrong.
probably wrong. Well, anyway, I'm on. I asked him to give me the transcripts to the Instagram training he did, and I never saw from it. So I got a hold of him and I said, "Hey, did you remember to send those to me?" And he said, "I can't find them for some reason, but I haven't forgotten." Well, here we are. You know, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Because I wanted to break it down through ChatGPT and create a mini course
Yeah.
with Instagram, because Instagram's hot and everybody
Mhm.
wants a piece of it, it seems. So, but
Yeah.
he never got them to me. So I know I could go through and break it down myself, but I really don't want to spend that kind of time. I wanted to throw that through Chat GPT, but
Mhm.
some dang reason he never sent them out. And I still haven't seen anything. So kind of
Yeah. Well,
sucks,
what I
but
I was gonna actually, I haven't got down the pricing options yet, but you can actually set pricing and stuff for these. But no, I was going to once I get this hooked up and stuff, I want to get it, rolling out to people where I can actually offer it. And I may offer them, I'll set prices on all of them, but I'll also coupon them down to free. You know what I
I
mean?
see.
So, hey, I've got this $27, this course that'll show you how to set the stuff up. I usually charge 27 bucks for it, but here's a coupon code. You can get it for free. You know, just that gets them to go in and put in an email for you. And,
Are you going to do it through Facebook then, advertising like he's
oh, well, I
showing?
mean, I'll talk about it. Yeah. Not
I
really.
mean, when you're going to get new customers for the $27, are you going to do a lead? You going to do a lead through Facebook, or are you going to do
Um,
your
yeah,
new?
that's the other thing I'm working on right now is really breaking down that training on the leads from a couple weeks ago. Because that Facebook training, I mean, I was working on mine and I've redone mine since then to get better results. But all the other style of ads I haven't gotten into yet. So I'm gonna work on that in the next week here.
So
But
Stu, where is that at? Where can we learn about his lead? Is it
that
the
was
call?
in
Is that
that
a
was yeah,
call, or is that an
yeah, no,
attorney?
it was in let me go to it right now. It's in his course sprout. And I want to say it was a Wednesday call. It's just a couple weeks back.
I wish he'd put the newest one on the top instead of at the bottom.
Yeah, that's the way it adds, though. Driving your latest semester calls updates.
That's in May.
Yeah, no, it was like 6 for Mastermind AI Bot Studios cover advanced strategies for leveraging AI Bot Studios and Facebook Drive sales. No, that isn't it. I wrote it down somewhere. I was just there the other night.
It's in there though, right? In the
Yeah, I
onshore
think
call?
maybe it was a round table that he was breaking it down, but it's one in the last couple of weeks. I was just about to watch it, but he dives into engaging local newsletters and leveraging Facebook ads. Doesn't give enough breakdowns. Since I want to think it was 6.9 maybe. Strategic use of newsletters. Get out to about here somewhere. See what he's talking about. I don't know. I can find it and link it to you. Yep, this is it.
Oh, 6, 9
Yeah,
around. You know, it doesn't
six
matter.
nine.
His round table is just as filled with information as the
Oh, I know it.
mastermind. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
well,
There's no call that isn't just as you have to be on
mhm.
all of them. You can't miss them.
Well, exactly. You really can, or you got to catch them on replay, one of the two. I pretty much watch it all. You know, and the fact that he's actually been down sick for a couple weeks has given me a break to catch
Oh
up.
God, no kidding, man.
I hate to say that's the silver lining to it, but it is.
It is. It's
Uh,
like, thank you for not calling me. I looked down. Oh, good. Thank God, not a call today.
yeah, it's about the same way. Okay, great. I can go work on this.
Don't I want you to be sick, but thank God.
Yeah, no, I just hate that he had to get sick for that to happen. But yeah, no, I needed a little catch up time. This is the one I'm working on here is learning these new ad styles because I want to start working on
Yeah,
those because he's
I'll
got
go
those
there. Thank you
rotating.
for that. I'll get there and look at it
Yeah.
today.
So 6/9/25, that's the one I'm working on there. And then the other thing I'm working on is learning the course sprout because I really think that's the next real key is getting that rolling.
I'm gonna go
So
through your thing today right after the call
okay. Okay.
that you
Yeah,
sent
no,
me.
that's fine. And then, yeah, I'm saying I'm going to break that down into smaller chunks so it's not a 2 hour thing. And like I say, I'm going to change the end of it. So when it gets to the pitch part at the end, think about the fact that that's going to change. So, you know,
Mhm.
because I think really the key is just to get them started and maybe mention the mastermind as the top level of it. Say, you know, the next level is you can go to the mastermind where I learned my stuff from you know, and get to that. But by that time, you've already covered all the other packages, and you know, so takes them in a stair step up. And I think you know, eventually, I can put it together in a funnel where they would actually go to purchase, say, the smaller one, but let's be able to look, it's only $20 more to get this package, you know, and then I can start actually offering training courses as upsells and downsells with it, you know. So hey, well, if you know you're getting the package, you know, you want the course to help you, you know, walk you right through all the hookup on it, you know, or that might be a bonus, you know.
You
So
don't want to do the services for them, though. I know you mentioned that, but if you had a VA, wouldn't that be easy? Then you could really charge them a lot of money. If you
well,
have a
yeah,
VA,
but then you've
if-
got to train the VA to do whatever it is they need, you know.
but at
So it's
least they could
still
do it, like email service, that's huge.
mm,
I mean, look, if people can't deliver their stuff. Look, sometimes my newsletter, when I send a test out, it
mhm.
ends up in my promotion box and not in my main inbox. Is that
Really,
Saudi?
I've not had that happen. Yeah, it
I'm
always
wondering
comes direct
why.
to me. I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, I mean,
Is
I've
it
got it
after?
all right. I got my sending domain and everything.
Is it after you sent one or?
Well, it's to myself. It's a test email.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
then
don't
the
know.
thing went down over the weekend. So, I mean, the weekend. So they got that all upgraded and fixed, I guess.
It must have gone down. Mine went out last Wednesday just fine. So as long as they do it over the weekend, I'm golden.
Well, that's when it was there. You couldn't open up a test page. There was something wrong with it. But I think he fixed it. The people complained about it in the support room.
Yeah, he jumps right on that stuff, and he's got the crew jumping right on that stuff. So, you know, that's a lot better than a lot of places. You know, a lot of places it'd be down for a week and wouldn't give you any updates about it, and you know, you know. So I guess I
It's
can't complain
crazy
about
how he
that.
he is.
No, no, he's so the transparency he offers is really key. You know, I mean, he flat out tells you what he's doing. He tells you why he's doing it. You know, he says, "Yeah, I'm making money from you on it, but that's why." You know, so
Well, I understand that everything really is ours, is our own,
yeah,
really. We don't
yeah, it
have to give
is.
him any of it. We don't if we don't go through the power plays, we can use anything for our own, right?
I mean, you know, I mean, you could promote anything with this software. And I mean, ultimately, I will promote other things with it, but I want to really focus on getting this rolling first.
Yeah, but what
I
you
think
got
this,
going is you're taking as your own. He's not getting a
yeah,
piece of the action.
yeah, no, it's all mine. And once he white labels, I'll change it to my own names. You know, that's why I'm setting it up that way. I'll just have to go just rebrand it, come up with some new logos and new names and pop them in there.
You got a sending domains you got to put in there too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I've got I got a DBA as velocity traffic systems, so I'm just going to call it the velocity packages and
I love
you
that.
know,
That's a great
yeah,
name. You're a good
yeah.
designer too.
Well, that's Chat GPT again. So
Yeah, but it's good that you're just a mover and a shaker. It's good to have somebody doing it, because it is a bit overwhelming, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It's
no,
about
I'll
time.
tell you, I'm scared to death of it. You know, I think this AI stuff is coming on so fast, and I see all these people around me that just really are, oh, I don't like it, or this or that. You know, it's like, well, you know, you may not like it, but it's coming. You darn well better start living it because, you know, it's coming. So, yeah, I'm scared for these folks that aren't going to have jobs in just a couple of years here. I mean, I think it's speeding up faster than they even have been willing to admit to us generally that it's doing. And you know, it's you know, I think it's going to be the next couple of years, realistically. Two to five. I don't think it's 10 anymore. You know,
You think
that's
they'll replace car salespeople, car salesmen, like
heck yes.
robotics?
Well, for starters, the only cars you're going to be buying will be the ones that drive themselves before too awful long. So, you know,
Ain't gonna
I
ever
think I
buy
think
one of
car
those
sales
things.
will change as a whole. People won't buy cars anymore. They'll use a rideshare service or something, and people will maintain fleets of self-driving cars, and you'll schedule them. It'll pull up to your house and take you where you're going. And you know, the cost of maintaining your own car is up there. So, you know, if you can get a ride share that did all that for you, I mean, my cars sit in the driveway 90% of the time, you know, so the 10% of the time I'm actually using them. Um, you know, so when you think about it, that cost gets defrayed in that future, and they're not going to let us drive. So,
You
you
know,
know,
do you know when the first electric car was made?
uh, well, there were some made years ago. I'm trying to think what the name of it
1910.
was. Oh, 1910. I don't
1910?
doubt that. Yeah, I don't doubt
But
that.
you know what was the demise of the electric cars? The price of gasoline. It, there was
Yeah.
such an abundance of oil, and they were able to produce the gasoline so cheap. I mean,
Hmm.
even I'm old enough to remember 35 cents a gallon, and
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't an American gallon, that was a Canadian gallon.
I remember driving to Florida as a kid, and they had price wars along the highway, 24 cents. So,
Yeah.
I
and when
remember
I
that.
started driving, it was like 50 cents. So
20
yeah,
cents, I saw it as low as 20 cents in a gas war. My
yeah,
dad
yeah.
was filling up. I was just a kid. I can still see that sign. I must have been 6 years old.
Well, you remember the embar or the rationing during when they had the even odd fill ups and all that stuff. You had to wait in the long lines to get gas. That was crazy. So.
You want to hear something really crazy about that? Being in Canada, Montreal is one of the big cities in Canada. And this was back in, I guess, 75 when they had the gasoline shortages. They couldn't
Uh,
keep up with the demand. At that
right.
time, there was 5 refineries in the east end of Montreal cooking up gasoline. And
Hmm.
they said they can't keep up with the demand. Do you know how many refineries they got in the east end of Montreal now?
I don't know, probably two.
Two, two.
Yeah.
And they can keep up no problem at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's a Judge Judy once wrote a book, and one of these days I'm going to find a copy of it. She says, "Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining."
Exactly. Exactly.
And that suits these companies. The oil companies are the biggest liars on the planet. Well, maybe not the biggest, second biggest now, but
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that we can rate them, but they're up in the top 10. Yep. No, they're definitely making money. Plus, we subsidize the heck out of them, which anybody that's making that kind of money shouldn't be subsidized at all. You know, so you want to worry about where to cut some expense. You know. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm really, I enjoy Chad's thing. I get quite a bit out of it, and I learn something new every day. So, um, you know, and it's finally starting. I mean, I'm actually having way more success with Chad than I ever had prior to that. So, you know, I can't complain a bit. So, but yeah, I think if we master these, I think the next step is to have some kinds of courses and things because as he keeps saying, it's going to be the community is going to be the key. I mean, it really is. It's having people in the community. It's having groups like this to go to where you're going to see and meet and know people. You know, I've got a couple other little groups like this that I go to, you know, and, you know, I have one on Monday mornings that's just like the height of the beginning of my week. That's usually 5 or 6 of us in there. And all of us are working on different stuff, different programs, you know, so there's not any necessarily shared software, but we all talk about different things like, you know, we've been teaching them a little bit about lead ads and some stuff like that. So, you know, it's just that having that camaraderie, I think, is a big plus for me. So
What is your hope to sell that, like he said, one day?
I'd like to, you know, ultimately get my own little mastermind going. You know, then I've got a group that comes together every week, and you know, I don't expect it ever to be as big as Chad's, but if I've got people getting into these packages and then I offer a mastermind to go with it, and I'm nurturing them through them, it'll reduce the churn because, like you say, it's a lot of information. If somebody's not guiding you through it, it gets, you know. So think of us as our goal needs to be as guides on this software, whether they're in the mastermind and coming into our group underneath, or whether they're using our software package and getting coached. But that's kind of my thing. And I want to do that with businesses as well. You know, yeah, you want to get your email together. Okay, here's the software. It's relatively inexpensive. You know, this is probably the package level you need to be at now. Be transparent with them. No, don't sell them the biggest one right off the bat. You know, yeah, you'll probably need this later, but for right now, you can save $20 a month and go with this package, you know, and not being it all for the money. And people will stick with you and learn, I think. So,
Dude, I wanted to ask you a favor. No, it's not a big favor. I had saved your email from last week,
okay.
and because I was working last week, and I wanted to go through all your stuff, and I saved it somewhere and I can't find it. And I was wondering
I'll get a copy of it, send it back out to you. Yeah, because it's got all the stuff on it.
because I wanted to go through everything you've done. I think it would be interesting and learn from you, but I cannot find that dang email. I lost it somewhere.
Let's just go here to.
Drives me nuts, man. I'm like you, Stu. I mean, I got so much stuff to save and so many
I
places
know
to
it.
put it. I can't keep track of the dang stuff.
Let's see. I think it was this one. Let's see here.
Hey, Bruce, one of the things I've done is I took a spreadsheet and I'm putting all my URLs and links to all the stuff and categorizing it on a spreadsheet.
That's a great idea. And then you kind of have a notation what it goes to kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I put the actual link in there to whatever it is that I want and notation, like you said, of what it is and where it's going to take me. Right now, I've got so many tabs open. I'm
Oh, me
amazed
too.
my computer's still running.
Sometimes I think my computer's just slowing down because I got 35 to 40 tabs open it all the time.
Gotcha.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I've got you open now. I'm plugging it in.
Thank you.
Let's see, we got to control V. Oh, come on, get in there.
I'm gonna have to create a stew file.
A file.
Gmail now. Smiling Stew. I love that name, by the way. That's fun.
It's been my name for a long time, back since the days of AOL. Something that friends gave
well,
to
you
me
always do
years
have
ago.
a smile. I gotta admit, you're always in smile.
I'm that way, and that's kind of how the name came about. And then I've just embraced it forever. You know, I've had people,
Why
I've
not?
used it as my email, and I've had people say, "Oh, Stu, that's not professional. You need to change that." And I said, "No." And I've had people call me for interviews and say, "Hey, you know, that email is really cool." You know, and I mean, if that's the one thing on my resume that stood out to them, you know, I'm good with that. You know.
Oh, heck yeah, that's a great name.
Let's see
On one of
here.
my newsletters, I started using. I have mine's called the 801 Insider.
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to
You
use
have to wait, sweetheart.
mascot. I have a
Uh-huh.
mascot. It's the the state is the beehive state, right? We have a
Right.
bee and stuff. So I have this female bee that's my mascot, and
Maybe we can
it's
go
funny
to that.
because people ask about that stuff.
Why did she ask to do that?
Right, right.
Hamburger buns.
You create something that's memorable and fun. You know, you think, oh,
Just
that's
give me a
silly. You have
sec here
a
and I'll
cartoon
sign
bee,
out
but
of this.
it works.
Yeah,
Is it?
no, I mean, it's, I mean, people actually call me that.
It's
Actually,
crazy because it was only
ChatGPT
supposed to get to
addresses me as
21.
Smiling Stu now. So it's crazy, but
Oh, it's
yeah,
a
no,
killer
it's
name,
just,
man. You're lucky that works for you.
well, and it's at this point you can actually Google me under it, so because I've had it for so long.
That's
Uh,
funny.
Sorry, guys, I didn't know my microphone was still open.
Oh, you're fine.
My son's just come in. I'm gonna have to bug out here. We gotta go do something. So
I think we're
Anyway,
just about
great.
done here anyway, so you're
one last
probably good to go.
one last quick question, Stu.
Uh-huh.
How's your roof?
Oh well, not much going on there. I've got to get a hold of them at this
Geez, you
point.
kidding me?
Well, there's so many people got damaged around here. It's going to take time, but I've got a concierge that is handling it for State Farm. So they came right out and mitigated everything, and that's the most important thing. And now they've got to get estimators out on the roof and all that stuff, and then go from there. But yeah, we'll get there. They said it'd take 2-3 months.
Oh.
That's the general rule of thumb for it. So
Hurry
Yeah.
up and wait. Hurry up
yeah,
and wait.
I hear you. That's the way it is. But
Anyway, well, you guys have a great day. I
All
gotta
right,
bug
Earl.
out, so we'll see you another time.
We'll see you, Wednesday?
yeah, absolutely. All right.
We'll
Well,
get
if
more
this works,
bungled.
all right, you should have it coming to you right now. It doesn't have
Yeah,
any
there it
fancy
is.
labels on
Your
it.
your
but
name
just-
says Stu. It doesn't say Smiling Stu, but it says
yeah,
Stu.
I put, well, you type whatever name it is in there when you're setting it up. I just threw Stu in there. But sometimes I put Smiling Stu in, but
But even still, Stu is still very
Mhm.
you don't see that.
no, it's not as
You don't
common.
see just Stu on there, so
Yeah. So yeah, no, I use that as the professional end of it, but then come back around with the Smiling Stu as the email. So, I could still be professional and still have a fun email at the same time. So anyway, but yeah, there you go. You've got that.
All
Go ahead
right.
and go through it. And like I say, my next thing is going to be to take that course and break it down.
course
So,
craft.
Yeah.
I think I'll do that because if you're doing, I think that what I've decided to do is, since we talk on a Monday, I'm gonna follow in your footsteps. I'm gonna get in there
Okay.
and do what
Well,
you're
yeah, I
doing.
wonder.
Now, do you see
And
how
if
that
you-
would be beneficial? Because maybe I'll find something you didn't, or vice versa. Because
Right.
I need to, this isn't my first rodeo. It's just my first
Mm-hmm.
rodeo with this kind of stuff. I mean, I've
Right.
done some funnels, I've done Shopify, all that stuff, but this is way different. But I probably need to get on the same page with you or something where I'm saying, oh, I'm in that. I can,
Right. Well, if we're working on the same thing at the same time, it'll probably help both of us. Yeah.
I
'Cause
think
we'll
it's
both learn
more
different
it's
things.
better because I need to get rocking and rolling before I be left in the dust. I'm already feeling bad about that, but I think it's I'm going to do
Well,
that. I think I'll go through that course.
Yeah, I think you just got to focus on one thing at a time. I mean, once you get all your stuff hooked up, get your newsletter running, but then start working on the other things while your newsletter's going and churning people in. And then it's, you got a course you put together, you can offer them through the newsletter. Hey, I just built this course. Check it out. See what you think. It's free. Anything that gets them in, so.
I want to start doing t-shirts. That's another thing I want to get into. So
Okay.
I've got 3 or 4 ideas, but our t-shirts, I probably should go through Chad, right?
Well, I think Connie is probably really the person to talk to there. She pretty much runs Chad's. He knows the print on demand stuff, but she does all the execution. She's found all the t-shirt prices. And when I was looking, they had me talk to her rather than Chad's.
Oh,
So
I think I'm going to reach out to eventually. So, all right.
yeah.
I appreciate the call. I always like being on your call. They're always beneficial.
I enjoy hanging with you guys as well.
Yeah, it's
Have a
kind of
great
fun.
week.